Hi everybody, it's Rachel and I am here today with the video that we've all been waiting for, the cornerstone and second sashing for the Queen of Diamonds quilt. And these are going to be done EPP style. Okay, so I am doing my entire quilt EPP style, so we have the papers that we need in order to do this. If you're going to be machine sewing these on, this video probably won't help you at all. But if you bought these papers in order to do the entire top EPP, then that's what we're going to go through today. Now, I actually have not done this at all. I do like to kind of figure things out with you guys in my videos. So hopefully this works out. If we make some mistakes, then we'll figure them out together. This probably will be a little bit of a longer video, but we'll get through it. And yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments below, and I will definitely try to help you. And I guess let's get started. So, first things first, in month 12, you should have gotten all of your cornerstone fabrics. I guess this is for the binding. I wasn't sure when I opened up my package. So this is for the binding. So we don't need that today at all. So we're just going to take that out completely. And then we got a cute little, if you did Pink Door, we got a cute little patch. I think you can buy that on their website as well now if you did not do Pink Door. So we'll set that aside though. But we have all of our cornerstone fabrics, and then we have our fairy flakes. And this is going to be the second sashing. So the Mick Jaguar was the first sashing, and then this is the second sashing. So where do I want to start? I guess we will start with cornerstones, so it'll make life a little easier. So there is a page in the book that explains exactly what fabrics need to be used for each cornerstone. It looks like you need 2 of each basically, except for there's 2 darker ones that you just do 1 of. So it should be pretty straightforward. Probably the hardest part, because these fabrics were not put in any kind of order, is just figuring out what fabrics are what, I guess. So I'm going to try and put these in order. So I'm going to start with Peach Fuzz, then Marigold, then Peach Fuzz again. All right, then we have Snapdragon. I guess that's this orange. And then Dazzle. Ooh, Dazzle and Glitter are always so similar. Look at these two. Dazzle and Glitter. So I think Dazzle is the more purple. We're just going to go with it. Sure, it's not going to be way off if they're backwards. So Dazzle, then Stargazer, Fresh Cut, then Glitter. Oh no, Glitter's already there. Oh, I didn't do Glitter. After Marigold should go Glitter. Okay. Marigold, Glitter, okay, then that gets reused, then Dazzle, then this, then Amethyst. Ooh, and I'm missing Whimsy and Shimmer. I wonder if that extra blue we had, let me see if that's still, so this is gonna be one of them. That's probably Shimmer. And I'm missing Whimsy. Okay. So that's going to be, so this was an extra one we got in, I believe, month 10, actually. Maybe 11? Maybe 11. And so I'm going to use that. This is either Whimsy or Shimmer, probably Whimsy. And I guess I am missing one of the fabrics. I probably have it from a previous month, so I'm just going to do that. If you're missing a fabric as well, you could reach out to the person who put your kit together, whether it was Pink Door or if you got it from a local quilt shop, and see, maybe you don't have the same problem I do, but I'm not going to bother because I'm sure I probably have that fabric somewhere. So I'm just going to wait on doing these last 2. I'm not going to do them all in the video anyways. But so put your fabrics in order, make sure you have everything. If you are missing fabrics and can't make it up with the rest of your quilt, feel free, or either way, even if you can make it up, feel free to reach out to the person who put your kit together, and I'm sure they'll be able to make it right for you. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start with Peach Fuzz, because actually Peach Fuzz has the full diamond and the half diamonds. So we'll just show just the Peach Fuzz in the video for you guys. So again, if you are doing this all EPP, you should have bought the extra EPP kit. This was an additional purchase that they put out probably about 2 months into the project, because people really wanted to be able to do the whole top by EPP and not have to machine sew. And sorry for, I have black dots all over my hand because I spilled some printer ink and it's all over my hand, so sorry about that, but it's not dirt. I'm not dirty, I promise. It's just printer ink that freaking won't come off. All right, so I have 2 diamonds, and then I have 2 half diamonds. So that's pretty straightforward. So in the again, in the pattern, it's going to tell you exactly, so you can see I have a full diamond here for Peach Fuzz and then a half diamond here for Peach Fuzz. So just go down this list to make all your diamonds and use the fabric that they provided in the month 12 package. So since these are already folded, I'm just going to go ahead and use the fold, since I need 2 of each anyway. So you can see I have my selvage here, so I just want to make sure I don't incorporate the selvage when I'm glue basting and cutting. Oh, I forgot to grab my scissors. I guess maybe I'll use my little scissors. I think those should work fine. So we're just going to go ahead and do what we normally do, just a little bit of glue on the bottom. I'm going to make sure I leave enough seam allowance. That doesn't include that selvage. I only have to put 1 down because, again, we're going to be cutting 2 of them at once. And there's no fussy cutting with this at all, so just glue it down. That's all you need to do. We'll do this. So technically they should be, I'll do it like this just to leave a little extra for myself. Save some fabric. All right, and then just cut it out. Yeah, these aren't gonna work. All right, all right. Grab my other scissors. I'll be right back. Okay, always grab the right tool for the job. Makes life so much easier. So we're gonna go ahead and come in here and cut these out. So this is kind of the last step in this whole quilt. Hopefully you've had a lot of fun making it. I definitely learned quite a lot doing this. I would say I was a strong novice when I started this quilt. I have been working on a grandmother's flower garden for quite some time, but no one ever really taught me how to do it, so I kind of just wung it with that quilt, kind of just made it up as I went. And when I went to go start this project, I was looking for something a little more complicated. I watched a lot of videos, learned a lot of tips. Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but I have been quilting, machine quilting for many, many years. So a lot of the things that I learned doing that, I was able to carry over and continue to use here. And hopefully you have enjoyed doing English paper piecing. If you've never done it before this project, it was a really good starter project, to be honest. It's probably one of the more complicated patterns you'll do, but once you start in on it, it's really not too bad. It's really, I mean, I think English paper piecing is the easiest way to quilt. All right, so we have those cut out. We did 2 at a time. So now we just want to go ahead and glue down the second papers onto the second fabrics. All right, and now we just are going to baste them. So I don't actually, you know what, maybe I don't know if ears are going to be a problem. Trying to look at them. I don't think ears are going to be a problem. So, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, just to make sure my ears don't interfere, we like our tail theory. We want our tails to be in control. is you're gonna, on the half triangles, if you glue the bottom first, then your ears will point into the binding. So that will work out. You don't have to worry about them being in the way of anything. So you just wanna do the bottom first, then each side, and just, it's a little finicky because it is a small, tight point there. So you just want to make sure you, when you're pressing for basting, just press your point first just to get the tightest point that you can. So always press the point first and kind of feel along the edge for the cardboard, and then you can push in the rest. Okay, so that's pretty darn good. So my points will, my tails will go right into the sashing, because you can see in the pattern these half are on the edge, so that'll just go right into the border or my binding or whatever it may be, so they won't be in the way when I'm sewing. So that's the best way to do these halves, I think. So we'll do this. So again, bottoms first. And then edges. So start with your pointy end so you know it's nice and tight, and then roll up from there. And I'm undoing it a little because I didn't get it quite as tight as I would like. Okay. All right, so that looks good. So those two are done. And then for my diamonds, I'm just gonna do my normal, what I've done in the Queen of Diamonds, is have my tails go the same direction. And I don't think it really matters which direction they go, because again, they are going to meet with the sash and my tails will be up above and really shouldn't interfere with anything. So, and if that's wrong, then we can fix it on the fly. So in order to have your tails go in the same direction, you, oh, I think you just gotta do both. Okay, I'm so used to doing tumbling cosmos now. So you gotta do both sides. So normally, like if you want your tails to go the other direction, you start up here and go around in a circle. If you want them to go the same direction, you have to glue baste both, so both sides, and then I'll glue baste both sides, and that makes my tails go in the same direction. Okay. All right, so that's it. So my tails are going in the same direction. That's my preference for this particular quilt, is to have them all going the same direction. So that's what we'll do. So we'll start. All right. All right, so that is our cornerstones, our diamonds. So that's pretty basic. So again, you would just want to do that same process for all of your fabrics that you're going to use in the quilt. Some of them will have the small, so I think the only other sides is in the green, and then everything else is just diamonds. So it should be pretty straightforward if you follow the pattern, but this gives us a start here. So we'll set these aside. So then the next thing we need to do is the actual in-between sashing. So you have two, hold on. I don't know what those are for. Oh, those are the smaller. Okay. So you have two sizes. Sorry. So if you, I think they're all the same. So probably the small, these are for the triangles. So the ones that are triangles and not full diamonds. And then these are for the diamonds and the half diamonds. So you can see they're the same width, right? And you can tell the difference because you can see these are the same, going the same direction, and these are going the opposite direction. So that's the difference between them. So ideally, all we would need to do is cover these in fabric, and they should just fit right on our finished covered, the diamonds and triangles that already have the McJaguar on there, right? So let's go ahead and I guess cover 2 of these. And I should be able to show how that all fits together with if I do 2 of each. All right, so we are gonna pull out our fairy flake. This is a lot of fabric. They gave us quite a bit. So we just have to start at one end. You don't have to cut strips or anything when you're EPPing. We just have to find an end. Ooh, they really did give us a lot. All right, so which side? So with this, you got to figure out which side's the back, which is the front. So the birds and everything are kind of painted. It's a relief on the front, so if you flip it over you can still see the bird through it, but it's not, you can tell it's not on top of the fabric. On this side it's on top of the fabric. Okay, so you want to make sure that you know which direction you're going. This isn't gonna be, it's a little bulky, but we'll figure it out. Let's see. Guess if so much fabric. I guess I'll put it in my lap. Oh, this will be the easiest. Okay. So this side is the back. So we'll unfold it a little. All right. So make sure you have front side down, back side up. We'll grab our glue. And it's honestly going to be just as simple as gluing these down. So they're just going to get glued down. I'm not going to go for any rhyme or reason, try to center a bird. If you want to do that, you can. I don't personally want to take the time to do that because to me this is just basically a white fabric and it's all different directions, all the little symbols and everything. But if you want to fussy cut it a little, you can certainly do that as well. So we are just going to glue and cut. And actually, this might, you know what, they're not back sides. I can double fold. Maybe I'll double fold. That way I can cut 2 at once. But it has to be on the back. All right, so I think I'll double fold so I can cut 2 at once. So this is a little bulky because it's the big, huge piece of fabric, but if you just do a bunch of these at once and just keep going, because I'm just doing the one for the video, it shouldn't be too bad. So probably don't even need that much. Let's see. Just do this. This here, this here. So I'm just adjusting my fabric so I can get the double fold without wasting too much. All right, so that should be good. Okay, so we're just gonna glue down each shape, cut it out, and then I'll have 2 that I have. So I'm just gonna put a good amount of glue all the way across so that it's nice and adhered. Make sure you're leaving plenty for seam allowances. Okay, and then this one. And again, make sure you're leaving plenty of room for seam allowances. Okay, so those are my two shapes, and I just got to get them cut out. It's going to be probably a little awkward. I'm just going to cut this down first. So you can probably do better than me to place those if you're doing a bunch at once, but you get the idea. So I like to try to at least double cut. You could probably even quadruple cut. You could do 4 layers if you wanted, because again, with EPP, even if you quadruple cut and it gets off even a little bit, it's totally fine because you're going to glue your next paper down centered anyways, so it's not a big deal. It's a very, very, very forgiving style of quilting. All right. So then we're going to cut right along the spine here. Just try to keep it as even as possible, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Those are my, probably trim now that this is cut open at the top. You know what? I'll just trim them individually because it's getting a little wacky. So we'll just trim them individually. We aim for a 3/8 inch. It's not the end of the world if it's bigger or smaller. The only time it really mattered in this quilt was if you were going to be machine sewing, you wanted a little bit more precise on the edges of your diamonds, because so that you could machine sew it properly. But that doesn't really matter at all if you're EPPing, because you're not going to be opening up any of these seams to machine sew them, so it doesn't matter. All right, so we're going to glue this next one down, and again, just make sure you're gluing to the back of the fabric. This white fabric is kind of hard to tell what's front, what's back, so just try to pay attention to that so you don't end up accidentally with one piece that's glued on the front and you don't notice, and then it'll have a different sheen to it when in the overall quilt probably stand out pretty good. So, all right, so those are all trimmed up. You can see that sheen there, and then we will trim the other shape. So I'm just going to trim this down, and then I guess I'll do the same. I'll just start by trimming one by itself because these are pretty long, so they're hard to do. It was easy to cut it out 2 at a time, but harder to trim 2 at a time, so we'll just trim them 1 at a time. And obviously I'm doing this on camera, so it's a little harder than if you're just doing it yourself. Hopefully I am on camera. I'm not really paying attention, sorry. So a little fiddly, but we can make it work. So this one's all set. And then, so again, this is where the sheen is. That's the back. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and glue the next one on and get that all trimmed up. And you can kind of see on my fabric, this piece was on a fold, so I don't iron them because once you pull it around the cardboard, you're really not gonna have any issues with that fold. If you do want to iron it, you certainly can, but it's just kind of an extra step that you don't really need, to be honest. So we're just going to go ahead and trim this up. Like I said, you just want to get around that 3/8. If it's a little bigger, that's fine. You want to go bigger rather than smaller just to make your life easier. So if you don't trust yourself with the length, go a little bigger. But once you do this a couple times, you'll really get an eyeball for it. So we're just going to trim. All right. Okay, and then the other thing you want to do, if you had the acrylic templates, which you guys know I don't use, you would notice on these sharp corners, you do get a little trim there. So we want to do that for each one. You should have 2 on each. So the more sharp angle gets a trim so that there's not a lot of bulk fabric on that. So we're just going to trim those all off. And I already did it on that side. So those are all set. And then same thing with these. So this more sharp corner will get a trim. Okay, so these are all trimmed up. All right. So next step is going to be glue basting. So these are going to go into the diamond. So I don't think the diamond's going to interfere with anything, but I think what I'm going to do is have my tails go away. Can I do that? I don't know. We're going to try it. So I'm going to do the long edges first and then the short edges, and that's going to make my tails go this way rather than out. So I think that's going to be better. We're going to give it a try. If that's not the right way to do it, make sure you watch the whole video before you get started so that you can see what I did instead. All right, so on these long edges, you don't want to go the whole edge to glue. You want to start with a little bit because your glue will dry out if you go the whole edge. So I like to just do a little bit and then just keep going on the long edges. Actually, you know, I could probably do this in fast motion for you guys. So basically I'm going to do the 2 long edges and then the short edges, and we're going to do that the same on all 4. So I'll do this in fast motion for you guys, and I'll see that in real time. Okay, so we have all 4 of these basted, and all right, so those are fine. So I just realized that I actually basted these backwards. So if you look, these are not basted the same way. If they were basted the same way, that would be the top. So I basted them backwards, but I think that was actually serendipitous, because if you do this, that's where your diamond goes. And if I had basted it like this, I wouldn't be able to do that. It would just be the same as this. So it looks like for EPP, you have to, for not the ones that have the same angle here, these don't matter, because again, if I do this, I get my diamonds. So you want to base these the same side. I don't think you can even base these on the wrong side. Actually, it doesn't matter because they're just the same shape the whole way around. So these, you don't have to worry how you based. Then for these, what you want to do is half of them going one direction and half of them going the other. And so the way you'll be able to tell if they're going opposite directions is, again, if they don't match up, then they're going opposite directions. So I would just take half your papers and point them one way, take half your papers, point them the other, and then put them down on onto your fabric. So hopefully that makes sense. So again, these are opposite because these angles don't line up. If I had put the fabric on this side, then they would be the same. So that's what you want to just check and make sure, and that's going to allow us to get the diamond in there. So you need different sides basted, and that's actually pretty funny that I did that totally by accident. So we're going to, so I'm going to pull out a triangle, and I'm going to pull out a diamond, and we are going to try and fit these together and see if they work. So these go with the triangles, the ones that are the brown paper, and these look more brown just because the paper is brown. This is obviously white fabric, so once it comes out, then it'll be fine. So this should fit right up against this, and since we eased everything in, you shouldn't have to ease anything in here, and if you look, I really don't. It lines up pretty precisely, so that's really good. So if you watch my video on easing in this McJaguar, that'll make this step 1,000 times easier for you. So we'll zoom out a little. So these are going to line up just like this onto your triangles, so that's perfect. And then your diamonds are going to just get pieced in just like this. And of course you want to pay attention to the pattern of which way your diamonds are going to go. Now see, this diamond is going to interfere with these tails, but it's just kind of lay underneath it in the long run, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to leave it because my diamonds have to have a tail going one way or the other, so I'm just going to keep doing it the way that I did it. But that fits absolutely perfectly. That's awesome. So let's go ahead and try and fit in a diamond now. So if you look on the pattern, so I have a triangle here, and then these two ends, and my cornerstone, I guess we'll call these the cornerstone. So that's what I have here, is this piece. And then coming down into that is going to be my diamond here, and then these two pieces here are going to be the other ones that we did. So we'll piece this in. Hopefully it should also, since I eased everything in, it should also line up perfectly, which it does. So it lines up perfectly. And then these, just make sure you pick the right one, because remember, you got two that are going different directions. So these are going to go like this. And I'm going to zoom out a little because so you can kind of see my mess. Actually, I'll move the camera a little so you can see those line up perfectly. So those go on those edges, and then I would have another cornerstone in the top there. So that is actually pretty perfect. They all line up perfectly. So again, the ones that have the same angle, the brown paper, these are going to go around all of your triangles, and then these will fill in around your diamonds. That's basically how that will work. And the way that I'm going to put these together, let's see. So I think what I'm going to do as far as sewing these is I'm going to start with my sashings that are for all my diamonds, because every single diamond is going to have a cornerstone, then an edge. So all of my triangles, sorry. So all of my triangles have two edges and a cornerstone to complete them. And then the diamonds are going to have, so like this diamond has 4 pieces around it, but once you put on all 4, then this diamond really only needs 1, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to kind of go along the pattern, and I think step 1 is going to be putting all of these triangles together with the McJaguar and then stitching on these. So what I would do is I'm going to EPP this cornerstone to this. So you just flip it over, stitch, stitch, stitch. Just use like a nice light color thread, either a light, you can match your cornerstone, either a light peach, or even if you just want to go white for all of these, that's totally fine. Then once that's stitched, this becomes one long piece. And then what I would do is stitch this piece here. So the piece that does not have the cornerstone, stitch that on first to the diamond, to the triangle. So stitch this on first to the triangle. Once this is stitched on, now you have the longer piece. So this being stitched together, you can flip this over, stitch that on, and then you'll have all of your triangles surrounded. Just make sure you're paying attention to which cornerstones you need. So you just want to follow this pattern and use this pattern to show which blocks you want, okay? And then just follow that along with that for the cornerstones here, if that makes sense. So 11, 12, 12, 11, and that's gonna go above. So like block 11-3 will have 11, block 3-3 will have 12, block 6-2 will have 12, and block 3-2 will have 11. So if you wrap all your papers, you can just clip all of these together with the right cornerstone that they need, and then also do the top that way. And then you're just going to piece in the rest. So once you have all of these triangles done, then you're going to figure out which, so then next what diamond this one is, get two sides put on, and then paper piece it. So I know this is a little bit theory because I don't actually have anything stitched yet, but putting all the papers on is a huge project, so you can get started with that now, and then starting with your triangles should be really straightforward. And then as I get a few done, I'll make another video to kind of show you how to get it all together into the whole entire quilt top. But it's just a little bit of like putting a puzzle together. So if you go between the second page of the book, it tells you exactly where each block goes, and then between where the numbers of the cornerstones are, you should be able to piece it all together once you have all of these wrapped. All right, so I think that is a pretty good video to get you started on these. I know it can be a little bit confusing, but hopefully if you just start going step by step, it should work out really well. And then, like I said, the biggest thing is to make sure you're easing in on this McJaguar. So I have a couple of videos up for that. So if you haven't done that part yet, definitely do that, because it's only going to make your life so much easier when you're doing these. So everything you can tell here, if you ease it in right, everything literally lines up so perfectly, and you won't have any easing in or any issues when you're doing this part all together. So just remember, you want to tack a cornerstone to one piece, tack the piece that doesn't have a cornerstone to the block, and then flip that over, and so that should get you started. So thank you, everybody. If you are not subscribed to my channel, make sure that you do so, as I do post these videos pretty sporadically. Of course, if you have any questions about this step, please feel free to ask in the comments. It'll help me make the next video, because I will do another video for this as I get stitching as well, but it'll help me to know where your questions might lie about this step. But hopefully this was a good start, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks, everybody.